All right, guys, we got GameStop, which I know popped up after market yesterday. Nike was a big one, and Petco leading the charge. Hey, Garrett, what names are
Hi,
you looking at today to trade?
Nike and GameStop. Hi, welcome to
Hi.
Miami. I'm in Miami. It's great.
Woo!
Look at my room. Look at how terrible it is. GameStop. And the reason is, look, you're up 54%. There's a lot of short covering on this stock. It's the first time that they've been profitable in 2 years. So we're going to look for this thing to probably keep squeezing, and then we're going to fade it after the Fed.
Wow. And when you're talking about a squeeze here, or I mean, Garrett, this thing popped up into its volume profile above its point of control. It's interesting that you say we're going to fade it after the Fed. What do you mean by that? You think we're going to get a little bit of a sell-off later?
We are currently still in a negative momentum environment, and we have had such a classic kind of squeeze move heading into the Fed, that kind of short term type of move, and momentum hasn't gone anywhere. That signals relatively low volume. It signals that there's a possibility that if the market doesn't like what Mr. Powell has to say at 235, you could be looking at a sell off. This is why we are trading the Fed today at 145. Join Kenny and me.
Oh man, I can't. I love trading the Fed with Kenny, but let me tell you, Garrett, it is just not the same having you there with Kenny, Mr. Macro, Mr. VWAP, coming in trading style to trade the Fed live, and that's later today in the main room. Now, Garrett, you did mention GameStop. Is this for a fade? Is this particularly because it is just a gap up and it's on earnings, or is it meme stocks in general that you're going to see this kind of fading action with?
Well, it's interesting with this company because it has completely taken off today, right? You're up more than 54% this morning. And this entire performance is based almost 90, probably 90% on them just cutting costs to the bone. So enjoy this short term pop if you have been holding on to GameStop. The 52-week high is still in the 50s. Stock is only at 27. And in this environment, anyone who owns the stock, short term traders, people trading around earnings, they're going to take their profits and they're going to take them quick. I think this can continue to squeeze higher. There's going to be a lot of short covering later today. And then you start to look for weakness and momentum. Now, let me take a quick note on this. If momentum goes positive, and that happens today, we get a fractal reversal, we get some sort of event that really drives money in, GameStop can squeeze much, much higher. So can all of those other garbage stocks like
Right.
ChargePoint and Lucid and everything else. But it really just kind of comes down to 2:30 today when Powell speaks. It's one of these days where you don't want to try to do too much. I wouldn't chase this too far. If you are, make sure that you're holding very tight stops.
Hey, Garrett, speaking of
Yes,
stop, or we can even say break, we have Spitfire in the chat suggesting, Garrett, are you on spring break partying in Miami? Is that why you're there?
I went to the World Baseball Classic Championship last night, and I watched Shohei Ohtani strike out Mike Trout, and it was one of the best baseball moments I've ever seen in my lifetime. So
Oh,
I'm
and
glad
that
I
is it
made the drive.
live? Ah,
Did I made a
that's
decision at
awesome.
2:30 yesterday. I was like, I've never seen half these players play. It was worth every cent. It was worth the drive. I have to drive back this morning so that I can get there in time to do midday momentum and meet with everybody from Flashpoint and then meet with Kenny. So it's going to be a little hectic from 9:30 to around 11:30, but absolutely worth it. It was a great experience.
That's really cool, Garrett. Thanks for sharing that. And we'll see you at
Yep.
midday momentum o'clock back on the west side of Florida.